Now is the fair manager of the Jackson County Fair, Denise Owens. Good morning, Denise.
Good morning.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
I gotta tell you, every night during Fair Week, I saw so many of my friends posting so many pictures, having a great time.
Good.
At the shows. It was just a great week.
It was a great week, and you know, this is the first year I had so many compliments on how beautiful everything looked. And we're always very clean, but I mean, it's getting better and better every year. But yeah, we had a great week. Probably could have used a little less heat and humidity at the beginning of the week, but didn't do a whole lot to mar the attitudes of everybody there at the fair. Food court was always super busy.
Now, there's so many things that that are on your mind, not necessarily the guest's mind. Maybe you're just going to a concert, just going to food. You're in charge of everything that's going on. It's a lot of moving pieces.
Well, and I had the loyal handyman cart to move me around, which was a little high, and so I have this rash. I didn't want to talk about that. Anyway, just getting in and out of the cart. But no, but I have a great team and a lot of folks that are, they love the fair. They take ownership of it. So it's a little easier job than it looks, although I don't want to make anybody think that it's easy.
Yeah, it's definitely not. It's not. I've seen you during Fair Week. Tons of great smiling faces, rides. Brandon took his son one day, and you rode the tilt-a-whirl, yeah?
I did. It's a little bit faster than it used to be.
Do you ride those?
Well, I didn't this year.
Okay.
I have been, I rode that and it turned me off from everything. Gosh, love Mid-America, they're great people. But that's insane. And I look out the window of our office and I'm seeing how high those seats are.
I wouldn't get on that thing if it was an inch off the ground.
Yeah, I don't know what possessed me other than it was like all of our staff said, we're gonna go out and do it. And I didn't want to be the baby and say no, but I was terrified.
I did one of those at an amusement park when my daughter was little, and I got on the thing with her and wished I hadn't. But some people love those. That's not for me. I like something underneath me.
Yeah, absolutely. And the Midway looked really beautiful this year. He tweaked some things, made some changes, and I praised him on Saturday when we have a vendor meeting, and I said, Blake, it really looked good. I like something that looks really tight and together, and it did. It looks really, really nice.
Thanks to JTV's Jeff Steers and Sarah Scape for all these great photos all week long.
Beautiful photos.
Look at that.
It really is the most beautiful fairgrounds and the cleanest fair in Michigan.
Yeah, look at that shot. I mean,
that's an excellent shot. I'm thinking that's probably Tuesday night. Hank tore the house down.
Yeah.
Hank Williams Jr., I mean, it's 77, he still has it. And I was very, very impressed with what a nice group of people they were. His daughter plays bass for him,
That's
and
cool.
she actually had to go meet a friend out in the parking lot. And Sarah Leitner, or not Sarah Leitner, but Shelley Kerstetter put her on her cart and took her out there. And Shelley wasn't even sure who she was. And I told her, I said, oh my
That's
goodness,
hilarious.
yeah.
How many people came to the fair?
I think we averaged out right around 160. So we were down a little bit for our Monday show, with the Elvis on the small stage, although he had a huge crowd. Mm-hmm. Matt King is absolutely phenomenal. And but it was awful hot and humid, and I'm doing a couple of things that I think will help our senior population next year. First of all, I got to get a tent over their heads in front of the small stage, and I think that'll help. Yeah. But we do have some new things that we're already starting to put in place for next year. Our fair book is going to include some new departments like beekeeping. Potentially, I'm still trying to nail it down, but beer and winemaking, which has always been, it's been big, of course, being the Beer Fest person here. That is a category that we're going to add, along with a couple of other things. Our exhibits were up this year in the Gumper Building, so that I was pleased with that, but I think it's time to put a shot in the arm. Tim Boss does such a phenomenal job with our antique department. Mm-hmm. He's even going to bleed out into making the Gumper Building look a tiny bit different.
Is a week long enough?
Oh, let me tell you, it is. It's more than long enough. Yeah. No.
Have you already started to look at your bookings for next year?
We have, and I'll be going to Nashville in October, like I always do, and so we'll continue those conversations that we've already started. I have to be honest with you, the way Hank kept mentioning Kid Rock, I really did think maybe he would come up from backstage. Actually, that was kind of thrown out a little bit early, that who knows what could happen. So I would have been mad at my promoter had he not given me the heads up. But sitting there, and he mentioned him so many times because they're friends, and I just said, oh, this would be wonderful.
Could you imagine? Wow.
Although it was an absolutely unbelievable night without that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, Kid Rock would be. I just saw that he's at Soaring Eagle on Labor Day.
He's yeah, and
Yeah.
he sells out everything.
Yeah,
I mean, he's
yeah.
especially in Michigan. He's
Yeah.
a must see.
Well, we're doing some line control too for next year. I hated to see the people having to stand in line for so long to get in to see Hank. I mean, I loved it, but yet on the side of a ticket holder. But this was the best crowd ever. They were so patient, but we are going to tweak a couple of things to move things along a little quicker for next year. So, you know, we make notes as the week goes along. Then I put them away for a little while, and then I pulled them out a couple of days ago and looked at them again before our fair board meeting.
We need a bridge over the river and the railroad tracks to the prison so that people, so you can take advantage of the parking, people can just walk over.
I know. Hey, but the city actually has kind of helped us out with a couple of things this year too. And so who knows, maybe if that gets into the right ear, we can, if it's property the city still owns, we can do something about that. The train or the railroad is the one obstacle.
Yeah, you can't move that.
They frown on, you know, bridges over the tracks.
Yeah. Well, it's you know, you think about the upgrades to the grounds and everything that you've done. I mean, it's really turned into just one of the premier fairs in the state. It's awesome.
Thank you for saying that. I believe that too, and obviously the Parks Department has been a huge partner on doing that. And Mike Overton, the county administrator, loves the fair, so he is, you know, always anything that can be done, he's right there. We don't have to actually do too much convincing. So
That's great.
It's been very helpful having all those good people on our side.
Yeah, it's a legacy that goes way back, and I think everyone that preceded you, the Herman Gumpers and all the great people who built the fair would be very proud of how you've carried the torch.
Well, I appreciate that, but obviously I had good ground to stand on, so there, you know, I mean, it was very easy. And growing up at that fair, I mean, I started when I was 9 years old. I probably love it a little more than some other people, you know, just because I lived it for so long. I was telling somebody in the beef barn, the kids did such a phenomenal job this year, but my last project for 4-H was a steer, and it was called Elma's Tuition, where I went to college at. And back in that day, it almost took care of my bill for the first year.
Isn't that
But
crazy?
yeah,
Oh,
but I mean,
awesome.
it's a wonderful program, and I'm very proud of everything on those grounds.
Well, thank you for being with us today. And why don't you take a week off?
I'm going to thank you.
Denise Owens, our Jackson County Fair Manager. More of the morning show right after this break.